Welcome to Jamaica. In this video, we look at the best things to do around the area of Port Antonio in eastern Jamaica, which is way less touristy than the north and the west and is way underrated. This was competing to be the tourist part of the island, but ultimately the other parts took over, and we are so lucky they did because now we have quite a few gems on this side of the island. Let's start off with my personal favorite activity on this part of Jamaica. It's actually a resort. It's called Great Huts. Here there are 17 huts, like actual huts, that sit atop this cliff in a lush little forest that overlooks the Caribbean Sea. In fact, the first thing we did was we had a look around at the premises, and they are so stunning. You won't even believe it, as it overlooks the blue waters of Boston Bay, and more about Boston Bay in just a moment. Now, walking around, we came to one of the many outstanding features of Great Huts, the Cliff Edge Infinity Pool. I mean, are you kidding me? In essence, this is an infinity pool that sits above the Caribbean with all the crashing waves below. This may be one of the best located pools in the whole world. There is not a better place to relax and chill than on this edge and take in the beautiful sunset as the world seemingly revolves around you. Listening to the roaring water below, yet relaxing in the calm, warm waters above is an experience like no other. But I haven't even gotten to the best part, which is the huts themselves. You see, each hut is a different style, and we stayed in the Queen of Sheba hut, which is an African style hut, and to me, I consider this glamping at its finest. You are really just one with nature, as it is a hut and it has these very large open air windows, one of which is very large, shaped like a star, and really lets in the ocean and forest breeze. Our personal hut was 3 stories tall with a main king-size bed and a lookout on the top level. And yes, it has electricity and all the main amenities you would want with any resort. I loved our hut, and it ranks with all the amazing places I have stayed, like Iceland's Bubble Hotel, a Hawaiian treehouse, a Turkish cave hotel, and a huge castle in Ireland, and much more. So watch those videos and subscribe to my channel, as I always find the best places to stay and things to do everywhere we go. Now, as if that isn't enough, they have an amazing restaurant and tons of other little Easter eggs at the resort, like parrots, ponds, and other fun activities they have every night. Oh, and if you thought it ended there, you are wrong, my friends. You see, the resort has its own private little beach on Boston Bay. The private beach is fun for exploring, relaxing, and having fun. So lay out on a hammock or lay out on a chair, and they're all naturally shaded by some trees. Or also at this private beach, have fun by doing some cliff diving into the blue waters below. It really is so much fun to jump into the water. But don't worry, there are more opportunities for cliff jumping in Jamaica, and we'll get to some in just a moment. But also don't forget, explore the little tide pools right on this private beach. It took us to this little sea throne within some tide pools. It was just so chill and so cool to just have the waves crashing all around us, but being protected and sitting on this little throne at the tide pools. There's so much to discover here at Great Huts is the point. If you're on this side of the island, you have to stay here. Now, there are also many day excursions from Great Huts, but my favorite was RIOS Falls and Rabbit Hole. RIOS Falls are a popular little set of falls to travel to. Now, in my opinion, the falls are really pretty, but nothing to really write home about. You can definitely visit cooler falls on the rest of the island or many other places in the world. But the real magic of RIOS Falls is when you hike up the river past RIOS Falls to something called the Rabbit Hole. Now, they may tell you that you shouldn't go up this way, but they really don't care or have a problem with it at all. It's something that the people that work there have to tell you, but they don't care if you go and do it. In fact, the magic is that you don't even need a guide to find the rabbit hole, though some guides will try and get you to pay more so they can guide you up that way. But all you have to do is just follow the river, and it will take you to everything you want and need to see. The hike is just beautiful and lush with all the sounds of nature, and streaks of light that filter through the forest canopy above. Water just trickles down wherever you go and in the most interesting paths as well. Just a note, you will need to swim a little bit to do this hike, and anti-slip water shoes will be beneficial for this and other places like Dunn's Falls, which we already went to. Now for the secret of this hike. At the end of the hike is a secret, picturesque waterfall that you can only get to by crossing a fallen log. And also, you can jump in, and it was so exquisite and refreshing and isolated, and we were the only ones that were even close to this place. I recommend doing some light exploring of the area and getting a few pictures if possible. Now, that was the end, but about halfway between RIOS Falls and that secret waterfall is a little spot they call Rabbit Hole. It is this medium-sized waterfall hole just big enough to drop into the serene grotto below. It is such a cool experience to be in that little cave and just explore its short little tunnels and the rooms it opens up into. Jamaica is one of the most amazing places you can visit because of places like this. So, if you haven't already done so, watch my complete Jamaica guide video for the best things to do while in Jamaica. My travel itinerary is in the description of this YouTube video. It's a few dollars to help support the channel, but it gives you the needed information and maps of all the best things to do while in Jamaica, which took me months to put together, and it helps you just go down the list and plan it really easily. Next to great huts, like we said earlier, is Boston Bay. The Boston Bay beach is a sight all in itself. This quaint, serene little beach hike is highly picturesque with its rope swing and surrounding rocks, cliffs, and shallow blue water. Many of the locals like to just come and relax at this beach all day, and it was a great experience getting to know some of them and talk to them for a while and be so secluded, unlinked to the more touristy areas of Jamaica. One thing to note about Jamaica is the people are awesome. We ran into some of the coolest people while here. But it is a slightly impoverished country, so while they are all friendly, they all will try and sell you something or try and ask for money. Just politely decline and talk to them for a while, and you will have a great time. I would say this is people's biggest complaint about visiting Jamaica, actually, was their pushiness to try and sell you things. But for me, it was one of the biggest positives because a lot of those people ended up being really cool to talk to. Another great thing about Boston Bay is that it is an excellent place to learn how to surf, as the waves are fairly small and evenly spaced out in just a way that makes learning simple. This guy just happened to be the owner of a small surf shop on Boston Bay Beach. Now, if you haven't ever surfed, I would highly recommend that you learn how to do it here. Surfing with a surfing instructor is actually quite easy, and most people get on the surfboard the first day they try if they use an instructor. This was Danny's first time, and after a few wipeouts, he was easily getting up on the board. Now, we actually went a time of day when the waves were a little too small, but they were still big enough to learn and get on that board. Another cool thing about staying at Great Huts is it's a 3-minute walk to get you to Boston Bay Beach, and only a 1-minute walk will take you straight to the birthplace of jerk chicken itself. It may not look like much, but this is Boston Jerk Center, and it is the perfect place to come get your Jamaican jerk, as well as their festival bread. Jerk flavored meat is everywhere on the island, but you need to try it where it is cooked authentically under the metal that keeps the smoke in, as all the Jamaicans cook their jerk as well. But the food here is so good, and eating here in this region is where it all started. If you want to have the best travel experiences like mine, like, subscribe, and watch some of those other Jamaica travel videos now.